All right. Everybody, my name is Zach Nordyke, and I'm proud to be joined here by Erica Tibbis and Claire James from the Evergreen team. We've spent the last year tirelessly working to help adults in our community over the age of 21 connect to mentorship. This idea was really birthed out of working with the adult population 22 and above throughout Ohio for the last 6 years to earn a high school diploma. That was my forte. I think we've done a great job. We help thousands of people earn the diploma through a variety of different schools. But anybody who's ever helped an adult earn a GED or diploma knows, and anybody who's earned a diploma themselves, which I know is everybody in this room, that's just the starting point. It's not an ending point. There was a lot more work to be done once that was earned. In the Ohio Department of Education did a phenomenal job funding their pathway to get to the diploma, but it basically fell off a cliff when we got to the point where they had a diploma and needed to take next steps. What are those next steps? Well, I know we would all love to send folks to college. That's a nice idea, but most people want a better job. They got bills to pay and children to feed. And you're going to meet a young woman who's one of our newest clients that was in that boat. Her story of determination is amazing. But we know this. Our community members need a lot of resource navigation. There's a lot of rich and helpful resources. I'm sure I'm staring at people that have mountains of excellent resources. But it's how do we have a warm handoff and facilitate the adult looking for those resources with the proper resource? How does the key fit the lock? Okay, and that's the part where our mentorship comes in. Claire, Erica, Kenya, Ashley are all mentors on my team that specifically focus on helping the adults once they're at the stage where they need resource navigation, as well as what I'll call stress, anxiety, and depression management. We aren't counselors, we're not therapists. I know a guest that we have here today, his wife sounds like an amazing therapist. That we're not, but we combine navigating by diminishing stress, by helping people get the proper connection in role playing with them and walking them through what it might be like to have that conversation with that person that they may be a little intimidated with connecting with. They might feel a little insecure about what the next process once they get the interview would look like, or how do I get to Cincinnati State when I'm on campus? What if I don't know what to do? And you'll say, hey, that almost sounds like a family member. She's a family member to many people. She's a family member to many people. We want to build a circle of trust where it feels like a family member. I was fortunate enough that my first day of college, mom and dad had gone to college. They walked in there. They knew what to do when I was completely lost, and they helped me spread my wings because they had kind of walked that path already. And when somebody's walked the path already, to help you walk the path is just exponentially less difficult. These women that are on the team, and I'm sure we'll add some gentlemen to our team soon, have walked many paths. They can relate to the individuals that we're serving because they've been through and they've broken through many of the challenges that individuals we're serving presently struggle with. So yes, we do connect a lot of individuals with Cincinnati State. We do a nice warm handoff with a gentleman, Brian Dell. If he's somehow going to watch this in the future, big praise to Brian Dell. He does an amazing job taking people literally by the hand and walking them through how you enter into Cincinnati State. And again, I'm going to praise, and this gentleman's not on here, but he may watch this in the future, Andrew Waters from the Home Owners Association. Teaches people how to rebuild credit and get themselves on track financially. We plug a lot of our mentees into that. One of the number one goals is to buy a house. Katara Relaford is a mortgage banker with Huntington Bank. He does a fantastic job educating. We know that that's not a short-term goal, but learning the process, wanting to do it, and having the knowledge of how to do it are two different things. And we educate through making those connections. And that's a very simple, high-level overview of what we've done. but we're taking adults who are ready to succeed and tying them into the community resources that are out there that will take them over the edge. And again, please, I went to a public school, so this is not an indictment against public schools, but we think to break generational poverty, more of our adults will need to be connected into Ed Choice so they're aware that they might have an alternative school option available. Again, we're not slamming a public option, but many of our adults don't even know that it exists. And if they're in a school district or if their school is not kind of performing at the level that they think that their child needs, there may be other options. So I'm just proud that we're helping folks connect with jobs that have upward mobility. We're helping them manage stress, depression, PTSD. Again, we're not therapists, but we're helping them manage and navigate to the proper resources. We're helping them fix and repair credit often through Andrew Waters and his, amazing talent that way. We're helping them learn more about the home ownership process through our Rutherford Huntington Bank. And we're also advising for those who need it, how to connect into an Ed Choice or have academic options. You might not break generational poverty in one fell swoop, but if you can move people towards that, it's an amazing thing to do. So with all that being said, what I'm hoping to achieve today is very simple. I hope that you're going to hear powerful stories of what these great team members have done for our clients. But in turn, I hope that we can figure out, and this probably is going to happen over time, what you all do that could fit into the spectrum of what we're referring to. We want to build a two-way street. You all have varieties of resources. We have clients that could benefit from those resources. How do we facilitate warm handoffs? I'm sure if somebody could benefit from something at Community Action Agency, I could call Eric right now and speak with him. But our clients need that too. Who at your organization is the face? Who do we give them to that's a warm handoff? That's what we're hoping to do, build these two-way streets. And I hope you in turn feel like Evergreen is the ultimate retention layer. If we have somebody doing an Easter Seals program, for instance, we're going to make sure that they are there. And again, don't think I'm being crass, but we're going to make sure those butts are in the seat. We're going to make sure that they're showing up on time. We're going to make sure that they're coached up and working towards the professional behaviors we know it takes to be successful. We want to open up dialogues with all the organizations here and figure out how that two-way street works. Where do our services fit into what you're doing? Where do your services fit into what we're doing? And serve more of our community members. So by the time this is done, and we do have one super special surprise, I'm hoping that you're extremely well versed on our mission and some of the clients that we're serving. So I've been sharing quite a bit. Let's do this before we jump into our client testimonials. And I think everybody's going to thoroughly enjoy this. I'm going to start just because I've had the great privilege of speaking with everybody in the room. Can we go one by one across the video chat? And I so much apologize. In my upper left corner, Stanley, is it? Okay. Yeah, I apologize because I'm not seeing everybody's name. Would you mind to introduce yourself and your organization just real briefly, and we'll go around?
Absolutely, no problem, Zach. Good morning, everyone. My name's Stanley Warren Huffman. I work for Messer Construction in our Economic Inclusion Department as a manager. I lead our Urban Workforce Development Initiative. Pleasure to be here.
Stanley.
He's a former athlete that played in Cincinnati and outside, and has the longest name of anybody I've ever met.
All of those things are true.
Yeah, well, we're thrilled to have you here virtually. I know Messer's doing a great job trying to be an inclusive employer, which I know is a big push for a lot of organizations. So thank you, Stanley, for joining us. Eric, would you like to go next for us?
Sure. Eric Thomas, Community Action Agency. I am the manager of our Career Pathways Department, where we run a number of credential training programs for Hamilton County residents.
And Eric, I'll shoot a little praise your way. We have a lot of individuals that want to go to CAA to do the truck driving program to spring to mind. The CDL training is like the CAA must be synonymous with that. because all our clients say that's the go-to place to get it. So good job on that. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Zach.
Oh, absolutely, Eric. Hey, Betsy, would you mind to go next for us?
Sure. Hi. I'm working clinic a little bit, so I'll be in and out a little bit, but I'm Betsy Buchanan, and I work for the Cincinnati Hamilton County WIC program. And so WIC is for women, infants, and children. So it's a helpful stepping stone for low income, high risk families to get them off to a good start with nutrition education, breastfeeding education, and we also give them supplemental foods that are healthy and nutritious. And it can help. You can get on WIC if you don't have any income and on having Medicaid or food stamps, but you can also be on WIC having income. So a family of 4, let's say, could make up to $49,000. So it's not just, it's sometimes we have those little cracks where people fall into, and this can still help moms with a lot of good nutrition and getting their kids off to a good start.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, Betsy, thank you. I cold emailed Betsy. She was courteous enough to respond back. We jumped on a really, I thought, beneficial conversation. And everybody can think that I'm clueless, but I didn't know that much about WIC. And that's probably true that I am clueless, but Betsy did such a great job of breaking it down. Who wouldn't want to give individuals access to a food credit to buy healthful foods? We know that when you're eating well, you're performing better. I mean, it's just common sense. You don't need to be an athlete to know that. It's just very common sense. Her knowledge of just basic nutrition, her ability to just break down the service offering was huge. So Betsy, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. Tiffany Thomas, can we go to you next, please?
Sure. Good morning. I'm Tiffany Thomas, Vice President of Community Care for Talbot House. And the Community Care Service line at Talbot House oversees all of the employment for prevention and education services through Talbot House. So good morning. It's nice to meet you all.
Tiffany, thank you so much. And I know that I was fortunate enough to help lead a chemical dependency counselor assistant training a number of years back. Talbot House was extremely generous with bringing out some of the individuals that were tasked with hiring. They contributed on many panels. So thank you. And I know you're continuing to do some CDCA training. I think that that's immensely beneficial to the community. So Tiffany, thank you so much for joining us via Zoom today.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, my pleasure. Pat, would you mind to share with us next?
Absolutely. Thanks, Zach. Hi, everyone. My name is Pat Vichachod. I'm the Senior Project Manager for the Workforce Innovation Center at the Cincinnati USA Regional Chamber. The Workforce Innovation Center is a talent consulting practice, which is working with employers to adopt workforce practices that really can benefit their businesses and employees. We're also convening community partners to do what Zach mentioned with regards to kind of making the whole workforce ecosystem a little less confusing for the business community and for partners.
Yeah, and I will say Pat was extremely kind to bring me into this inclusive employer conversation. I love what he and the chamber are doing. They're going to have a job board that really highlights who these companies are that want to be a part of this. He's done a great job kind of aggregating those resources, and I think it's a big win. We know that the more barriers you put in front of the clients and the individuals we serve, and the more kind of navigation they have to do, the harder it is. So I applaud them for kind of making a one-stop place to go and find these inclusive employers. So Pat, thank you so much. Dorothy, could we go to you next, please?
Good morning. I'm Dorothy Smoot. I'm the Chief Impact Officer for the Urban League of Greater Southwestern Ohio. That means I have oversight of all of the workforce programs for both adult and youth at the Urban League.
Dorothy, that's fantastic. I know a lot of the clients we're serving really want to tap into small business training, learn a little bit more about entrepreneurship. I know the Urban League has a rich variety of resources in that regard. So hopefully we can open up dialogue moving forward on how that can be best facilitated. So Dorothy, thank you so much for joining us today. Jason, go to you next, please.
Absolutely. Good morning, everyone. My name is Jason Ashbrook. I am the Executive Director for the Southwest Ohio Region Workforce Investment Board, or SWORWIB, as it's commonly known. Many of you know my fierce predecessor, the one and only Sherry Kelly Marshall, who was our previous president and CEO before retiring at the end of last year. So shout out to Sherry. Just a little quick background about SWORWIB. I saw your hand, Sherry. The SWORWIB is an independent, nonpartisan, nonprofit organization serving the city of Cincinnati and Hamilton County in workforce development. So we have a 55+ member board of directors comprised of leaders from business, education, labor, government, but with the majority of the board representing businesses. And one of the key responsibilities we have with our board is to set the vision, policy direction, and the performance expectations for the Regional Ohio Means Jobs, or OMJ, workforce development system. And so that system serves employers, job seekers, dislocated workers, veterans, out of school and in-school youth, individuals with disabilities, and the list goes on. But I love this topic of mentorship, and I'm looking forward to today's conversation. So I want to thank Zach and Sherry for organizing today's meeting, and looking forward to learning more. Thanks again.
Jason, definitely appreciate it. And, we'll continue to praise Sherry for helping to assemble this group. I know she was vehement about getting everybody on today. It looks like many of you are here, so appreciate it. Just on my personal experience with the SWORWIB and Sherry, Jason, not to kind of put you on the back burner, but for the last probably 8 years minimally, I've been working a lot with Sherry, trying to convince her that some of my ideas weren't as dumb as they sounded. But she was instrumental in helping me launch a chemical dependency counselor assistant certification program that was very successful. It probably placed 34 adults who'd never worked in that space into the space, making some pretty good wages compared to where they were at. So I know SWORWIB does amazing things. They do have an incredibly high standards bar, which is, just makes you really press yourself to make sure that you're serving the clients that you get funded to the greatest of your ability. So Jason, I'm sure you'll do a great job continuing some of the good work that Sherry laid the foundation for. So thank you so much for joining us.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
Yes, absolutely. Amelia, I so much apologize. I wasn't able to see your name, but discreetly, smarter people in the room got me on track. Would you mind to share a little bit about yourself and your organization, please?
I thought you were purposefully moving her around.
I was just trying not to look as foolish as I was about.
This is Tiffany. Actually, Amy had to just step away for a quick second, so I will take the pleasure of introducing her. She is one of the vice presidents at Tower House as well, and she oversees our mental health, substance use, and medical services.
Mm-hmm.
So that is Amelia Orr.
Fantastic. Tiffany, thanks for jumping in there. And you can tell Amelia, I apologize. It was not intentional neglect. Just didn't want to say, hey, who else is on here? Okay. Thanks for introducing Amelia. That's certainly, it goes hand in hand. Unfortunately, we have many community members that are suffering from substance use conditions, and the mental health piece is huge. I know we, in a secondary capacity, work and try to assist people that are struggling with those issues. Chuck, would you go for us on Zoom, and then we're going to do some in-person introductions next.
Sure. I am Chuck Walters. I am the business service manager at the One Stop. So I do a lot of the things Jason was talking about. He directs us to do those. I'm currently laying on my couch because I'm dealing with COVID. So I have my camera off, and I look rougher than I feel, I think, but I'm here. So, and I'm taking notes. So
great job.
But
Did Kevin get it too, Chuck?
Kevin is just getting over it.
Hmm.
So yeah, we've had quite the outbreak. I think there's only one manager at the one stop that hasn't had it yet.
So that's.
Don't let him lie to you. It's not like getting a cold.
Yeah, it's
But I'm happy to be here.
yeah, we're happy to have you, Chuck, and sorry to hear that. By the way, Chuck has great hair. He's about 6'1", perfect skin. So you're missing missing the ball.
Actually 6'2". I'm 6'2". Don't cheat me out of that hair.
I apologize. All right. So definitely appreciate all of you for joining us on Zoom. Just a quick piece on Chuck. When I was helping with getting our folks into the CDCA training, there was a lot of paperwork at that time. I think maybe that paperwork component has since been reduced, but he was instrumental in expediting, because we know when clients or folks we're serving want to do something, it's yesterday that you needed to have it done. And the more kind of paperwork, and we'll start it next week, the more you're losing folks. So he was instrumental in expediting and making sure the paperwork aspect got processed, and you know, the clients who were serving were able to move forward. So Chuck, thank you. Sorry you're feeling sorry about the COVID situation, but glad you're here. Okay.
Thank you.
I would love for our Zoom team to hear from our in-person team. Again, these folks are enjoying delicious pancakes, coffee.
Best pancakes ever.
Fresh fruit. Sorry you're all missing it, but hey, you can't do everything virtually. Maybe we'll get everybody a 3D printer and you can print this stuff out next time. But Randy, can we start with you?
My name is Randy Struck. I'm the director of Icon Corporation, and we've been around for over 50 years and help youth and adults with any type of barrier, whether it's just stress or mental health issues, more severe mental health issues, schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, anxiety, depression. Could be physical health barrier. We help them either complete some of their education goals or help them get jobs out in the community. So I just have just a one-page flyer, just to pass around. Great for folks. Yeah, we have 2 locations here in Cincinnati and 1 in Seattle, Washington. And like I said, I've been doing this a long time.
And doing it well. I know from personal experience, one of the programs that I helped lead, the 22+ adult diploma program, we had a strategic partnership with Icon. We know this, some folks have cognitive disability or other life challenges and needed a lot of direct, personalized guidance on the diploma program. I don't even know if it's Icon's forte, but they were able to take the coursework that these individuals were supposed to do, and they literally kind of held their hand and made sure it got done, and made sure that they were supported in all the other ways that you need to support learners. So high level of service, certainly a high adaptability to clientele needs. So Randy, love it, love working with the Icon team. Mercedes, would you mind to go next?
Yes, hello everyone, my name is Mercedes Bello. I am with Vantage Agent. My program is about helping seniors 55 and older, people that are unemployed. We train them into new career pathways. We pay them an stipend. They can be in our program for some time, but we need to help them to go a little further so that they can leave the program and really find self-sustainability and financial stability in their future. That's what we are about. It's not only helping the people that is in need right now, but really being able to make a difference in their lives so that they can have a better age.
Yeah.
So that's what we're about, and I'm gonna pass out a couple of
Yes.
flyers.
And for those that are digital, we can do a composite email where this can be, everybody basically can do an exchange. I know some people are getting the tangible version of it, but we'll compile this and have it to you in digital form as well. Just a quick piece on what Mercedes is doing. I wish that the 55-year-olds we were serving were thinking about retirement.
Yeah.
They're not. They're thinking about how are they going to survive and how are they going to build a potential retirement in 15 to 20 years. I think it was thought of, not too long ago. You're 75 years old. You're done. Your working career is over. You're going to move to Florida if you're from the East Coast, and then it's a wrap. I know that is anything but the fact anymore. So I'm thrilled that Mercedes is putting her time and energies into this particular demographic. I know it's dramatically needed. Multiple of our clients are in this age demographic. They are adamantly looking for work. And often they've been kind of pigeonholed into a particular industry, and you're going to hear this from a client, but being able to show them different options is absolutely huge. So Mercedes, I applaud you, and I know from just personal experience, it's much needed. Miss Lyra. Yeah.
Hello, everyone. And I just want to say thank you so much for being invited to the Evergreen Mentoring program. I have worked with Zach maybe for a couple of years.
Absolutely.
For the ones that do not know, CareSource, we are a nonprofit managed care health plan. We actually have 3 products that we do in this area. We can do Medicaid. We can do individuals who are not eligible for Medicaid. We can do health plans on the market. On the marketplace. Also, depending on your age, if you're eligible for Medicare, we also can do special needs plan as well as Medicare Advantage. CareSource, actually, we are one of the largest plans in the nation. In Ohio, we are the largest. CareSource, we have roughly about 1.4 million members. We are in 5 states. We soon will be in Arkansas, we're in Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana, West Virginia, and Georgia. We actually have a workforce of 4,500 employees. Many of those employees are still working from home because of the COVID. But if you know anyone that needs any information about healthcare, because that's what we're all about. We also have a program that's called Life Services, because what we're trying to do, we're trying to help people not rely on government programs. So that was the catalyst where we decided that we want to help our members.
Yeah.
So like I said again, we're a very good company. We are selected #1 in Ohio. So as I said again, if anyone would like any additional information, don't hesitate to holler at me.
Yeah, and I will say, not only for CareSource, but Lyra, she's the woman to go to when you're dealing with somebody that might not have insurance that you think may qualify. She's helpful. She gets right on the ball. I know as long as you text her, she gives her cell phone number out. If you can identify who you are and what you need. She's our #1 connector when somebody reaches out to us and doesn't have insurance. We put them in touch with Lyra immediately. And I will say, I dealt with AJ Kessler at CareSource as well. He's a really smart, sharp individual, and we're looking forward to partnering with them in some of the community involvement that, where they're doing what they consider more life coaching. And I think that's comparable to what we are. So CareSource is incredible. Lyra, thank you so much. Yes, absolutely. Doug, I'd love to go to you next, please.
Sure. I'm going to just zoom in on the topic du jour. So Transform Consulting is launching a career mentoring program in Deer Park High School in Cincinnati, in Dayton Public Schools up in Dayton, and in Lima Senior High up in Lima. Initially, those 3 schools, and this is specifically high school. So this is 10th grade, which leads to 11th and 12th, including internships in between 11th and 12th grade that we arrange for the students working paid internships. However, thanks to the impossible to ignore influence of Miss Dorothy Smoot, we're going to attempt to upgrade and enlarge our offerings so it can deal with out of school youth, unemployed and underemployed adults, and create a version of the program that specifically deals to and for the adult population in Cincinnati. So that's coming in 2022.
Go Dorothy.
Great, glad to hear it. Doug, thank you, and I know his consulting practice really focuses on the gamut of needs that there are. So the employment piece as well as the mental components. So Doug, thank you so much for being here. Actually, can you cook you next?
So I'm actually Ella.
Ella,
So I'm
I'm
of
so
course, it's
sorry.
okay, that's perfectly fine, I'm out of place here. So, my name is Ella
It's
Thomas.
supposed to be Ashley Jones.
I know, right? So I am with Healthcare Access Now. Healthcare Access Now is a care coordination service in Cincinnati, Ohio. We employ and train and educate community health workers. I am director of the certification program for community health workers. And if you don't know about community health workers, they are frontline public health workers in the Cincinnati area, and actually all over the United States. And so we have a 14-week certification program, and also with our program, you're coming out with dual certification for mental health first aid as well. And so we're here at the table. We just started a mentoring program to keep the community health workers employed and to keep them out the gate employed, stay employed and promotion.
I know that the mentorship piece is huge, and I completely understand the retention, all of that stuff. Very, very smart. I'm glad you're here. And we actually did, I don't think Lauren's on here live, but we got a chance to meet with Lauren Bostic. She's a community health worker for the city of Cincinnati. She gave us a tremendous history of community health workers, as well as her great impact. So Ella, thank you for coming, and thank you for representing your organization.
Thank you.
Well, you just mentioned what Sarah, I know that Sarah had to take her daughter to the doctor. But she had mentioned that there's a collection of HPN like folks in the state that are starting to meet and talk about how to improve.
Yes, so that's the mentorship program that we started. Because so many of the community health workers, because we're getting people that first generations coming into the workforce. So to teach them how to come in to be employed, what it is to be an employee, and how to get to stay employed. So we're meeting with several organizations that have community health workers. And so that started, I just started with our own. And so it was a pilot with our own, and other agencies heard about it and they want to come on board as well. So that's why it started across the state of Ohio, starting our own mentorship program.
Ella, that's very, I can definitely understand why. Thank you so much. Ellen, would you mind to share just a bit?
Good morning, friends. I recognize most of the people on the Zoom. So Emily Crawford Davis with Easter Seals. I'm the director of our construction training programs. So a lot of the work that we do, I see Eric smiling and Stanley. Yeah, it overlaps. We do workforce development. We provide construction training, certifications through our partnerships with JFS and the Department of Labor. We're able to do a lot of different things with our people. We do incorporate or integrate mentorship, financial literacy, that sort of thing. But I'm really excited to be here to learn about more people who are offering those services. So that could be one thing that we could kind of, divert to you all, and we can focus more on that employment and work, work aspect.
Emily, that's really powerful. And I don't think, I'm one that thinks that a market can never be saturated fully. Like that's a concept that doesn't make sense. I think there could be helpful cooperation between entities, but there's a way to always position where things aren't dynamically overlapped. And we're going to jump into, and I hope everybody has time to hear this because it's going to be powerful, but we're going to get a couple of our clients to tell you their direct experience with us. And one woman, she actually became a client yesterday, but her story was so impactful for me. I asked her to come today, and I'm not going to steal any of her thunder, but you all are going to have a really important responsibility. I want you to think when you're hearing these two, who's being the biggest difference maker in their community now? Because we want to be community difference makers ourselves, but we want to empower other community difference makers. There was a person that had bold dreams and has made an impact that's generations long. And we're going to treat the person that you all vote for as the biggest difference maker now to seeing somebody else who is a awfully big difference maker. And I think you'll be really fascinated to find out more of what I mean once you've heard these stories and once you put in your vote. Before we jump into that, Erica, would you mind to go get Chenille?
Yes.
Okay, well, as we're waiting for Chenille to come in, I do want to share what makes our mentorship program a bit unique, okay? We exclusively work with community members that have a Medicaid-based insurance, hence CareSource. That's why we love Lyra, but any Medicaid-based insurance. And you might say, why? There might be people with no insurance or private insurance that want this. I have no doubt. I wish we could serve them all. But the reason we do this is we are partnered with a mental health agency called Primary Care Solutions of Ohio. And it allows us to work with, at zero cost to the client, that client for 3 hours each week, up to 3 hours each week for an entire year, okay? And the mentor, instead of doing this on a voluntary basis, which I'm looking at faces, I bet all of you mentor somebody at no payout to you. What's so beautiful, and we got Chenille here, and I'm going to introduce him in just a second. But what's so beautiful about being able to do this is the mentor is able to get a nice amount of compensation for their efforts and energies. And great folks like Chenille and Yvette can get the service at no cost to them. So the way I could see us interacting potentially is if you have mentorship and you're having to come out of your payroll to do it, there's a potential to maybe not do that and change the financial dynamics so it can be delivered in maybe a more effective way and create more income for your team, as well as be able to serve more community members. With that said, I'm going to move out of this guy's way because he's going to have a powerful story to share. But this is Chenille Andrews, right? Okay. And I'm going to let him tell you a little bit about his experience with the Evergreen Mentorship program. We have to tell Claire's the mentor. So I'm going to let these two take kind of center stage. Claire, Chenille, I'm going to turn it to you.
How you doing, everyone? My name is Chenille Andrews. A little bit about myself. 23 years old, about to be 24 next Sunday on the 30th. Been with the mentorship program since last year, April 14th, if I'm not mistaken. I went through Don 22 Plus program. That's where I heard about the program to get my GPAT. High school diploma. Got that out the way, got offered the best solution to the next step, and that's the program here. As far as financing, housing, talking more about credit, learning more about how this world works and how to mentally be prepared for how everything works. For example, credit, the most difficult thing to really understand and still learning to right now. Went from 540, jumped immediately to 650, and still improving on that to this day.
So Chenille went from not having any idea about credit, no credit card, nothing like that. We got him a secured card to start. And then he now has a card with cashback benefits. So learning how to use that and everything as well.
Yep. Like you said, I have secured card, started off with the secured card, put my applications out for Discover, got that approved after 3 months of my car that I saved up for and got that, put that on my credit card and showed them that I was a responsible human being. And then got my silver card from Discover. After that, we went on to a more challenging phase, which is child custody. Little background about that. Kid's mother didn't really get along that well. We decided to separate. And now I'm trying to work forward on getting either full or 50-50 custody with my kids. which is a challenging thing in itself if you didn't have help. Thank you. As far as finding resources, finding the right people to talk to, not trying to waste money like I did. I wasted over, I say about $3,000 trying to get help from a person that lived all the way in California. Knowing that they didn't live here. And so I actually had help finding research about that person and actually going through the correct steps to find someone new that's in the city that I can personally talk to either through Zoom or in person. By the way, that is going smoothly right now. Got following court dates coming up. And right now, after that, the end goal for this year is to find a house. So credit is going up thanks to the program. Car insurance, definitely got car insurance through the program through all the resources that they offered. One of the meetings that we entitled was that they included me in. We started to do vision boards, and that's where I talked to, it was mostly women there. Hopefully in the future, there's more men, you know. Hopefully with this meeting, we get a lot more people that can join the program. Yeah. This is my updated vision board. I should have brought the other one in, it's in the car actually. But just to go over some of the necessary requirements, like I said, end of the year, this is a house, trying to get a house at the end of the year or the beginning of next year. And the only thing to do that, build credit, watch what I spend and how I'm spending it, and pretty much make everything a smooth transition. So when that time comes, I can go through that and have everything going correctly. And let's see here. Working out. One of the best things you can do going through all your processes, because you need to clean your mind, you need to have a healthy body, you need to eat right, exercise, which me and Claire does every Wednesday and sometimes Saturday. She don't keep up as well, but she tries her best, you know.
It's the effort that counts.
It does. And a funny story, we were running and the lady, we were talking, I guess, out loud while we were running, and the lady was like, "Go, Claire, go." I was like, I told you got support. So we do it frequently. Like I said, we've been at this since April. Again, it's a difficult challenge because the process of trying to get help but not knowing who you can really rely on. And thankfully, the program offers a lot of help and a lot of benefits for just a little bit of insurance. That's a price you can't beat. But back to this, setting your goals, knowing what steps you need to take, whether you're program or not, you need to get out your own way. Set one small goal, complete it, set another goal after that, complete it. That way, when the year comes, or if it is a yearly goal, even if it's a 5-year plan, you can go through it step by step, get it out the way, and be more successful. You can feel more complete about everything that you've done. For example, let's see.
For you, probably.
Happy home. For example, happy home. That's a step one goal for anyone. If your home isn't happy, or if you don't feel happy at your home, then you have to switch it. Because you're trying to set a goal, you need a base top. You need a base operation to have that support, that mobility, you know, because the world it's not as friendly as you expect it to be, or the little things that you watch growing up. The world is tough. And you need a home that, like this, is my family here. Every time I come to them, I feel safe, feel good, feel motivated. You just get stuff done, you know? You need that support. Let's see here. again, about finances, you need to learn, let's see, how to budget, like just give me a little hint on what I'm saying. At first, didn't really know how to budget. It was kind of tough spending a lot of money on food that, yeah, my problem was food. Pretty much accumulated over like 2,000 over restaurants, eating out over just for no reason, you know, skinny big guy like to eat. Got it in my belly. Just watching how you spend, how you budget, and it's good to have a chart, or yeah, pretty much a chart showing what you're spending on, how you need to spend it, and then that follows up with how you can move forward with everything you need to get through as far as your goals.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what's on this.
Good job.
Yeah, that's pretty much on
Yeah,
this. But like I was saying, a happy home, a stable home. And this is what this program provides if you don't have that at home. And with all the resources that they offer, it really helps you clear your head, really helps you focus on your goals. And when you're not focused on your goals, they'll tell you when you're not. They'll snap you into place. Some people hard-headed. You gotta need that support.
Yeah.
The main focus is to stay focused. That's the only thing I can pretty much end that off with. Stay happy, stay healthy. Love you guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks. I know somebody, we've got folks commenting on the chat. Thank you so much. Chanel, you're getting praise and love. You know, I cannot tell you, we don't have that many men in this program, but boy, you are representing well. We have a lot of people like Miss Yvette standing by you that are strong heads of household, but I love to see that you're going to make a happy home for your child. You're going to go do what's needed. That's needed more. So I just applaud you. Thank you for being such a good representative. So. And we're going to move to Miss Yvette. She's only known us for 24 hours, but yet she was so impressed, and I was so impressed by her that I wanted her to speak. And before she does, I'm going to tell you why I wanted her. She's been working with her hands in basically getting overuse injuries because she's been doing physical labor. She knows how to type. She's known how to type since when?
I was 12.
Okay, so sometime in the 1970s, we're just going to put it like that. She's been typing away since the 70s till today. So she knows how to type. She wants to work in an office setting. She wants to do more administrative work. So I told her, she's got some really powerful stories. Maybe somebody in this room, and I'm including our virtual room, will hear this and maybe the door will open for you. So that's why I wanted her to come out. And Yvette, before we get you up here, Claire, how do people send somebody to Evergreen? What number do they need to call?
So my personal phone number,
Claire, come on.
it is on the cards that I have out in front of the people that are here with us in person. For you guys, it's 513-693-1781. I think we'll send out an email with that information and a digital brochure too. So if you didn't catch it the first time, I'll have that for you. But for you all, like I said, the cards are out. If you need more information, let me know. But I'm the one who does all the intake. So anytime you have a client or someone in a program that you think that could use our program and you want to refer them to us, I'm the one that's going to pick up the phone and schedule an intake assessment with them and share them with the mentor.
Thank you, Claire.
Yeah. Claire.
Claire James, folks. If you want to send somebody our way, it's real simple. I know Yvette contacted us through Facebook, but we're not going to make it complicated. Chanel's a guy that got his diploma and we got it that way. But Claire James, the number, we're going to send it to everybody virtually. Call her, she'll make it happen. You don't like making things complex. You call, you get the service that you're expecting to give to the clients that you want to serve. All right, I am really, Chanel did such a magical job, but I'm ready for you. She had me fired up over the phone yesterday. So
Thank you, Zach.
Thank you. All right, I'm gonna step out of your way.
Well, hello, my name is Yvette Woger, and I'm a mother of 6. And at the early age of 18, I was coming out of Woodrow High School, and I had my first job, yes, 1985. And my first factory job was at 2100 Section Road. I discovered I had very good hand-eye coordination. We had to make the boxes for the greeting cards. It's like you pick it up and you make it, you swoop it down. I'm very energetic, you know, and if I'm asked to do a job, I'll do it. And once I'm complete, if there's more to do, I want to do it. But over time, you know, became a mom, you know, and being married and going through life situations and moving from one spot and transitioning to a next spot and relationships not working out. I found myself in a situation in 2002. I had a baby. Thank you. Yeah, that was baby number 4. And then I'm with child again, and the baby number 4 is not even 8 months old yet. So I'm like, God, what can I do? So I went to Cincinnati State to better myself and pull myself away from factory jobs. Very good at it, and I'm a good inspector. However, I wanted to do something different. So I was living in Walnut Hills, Sadie Coon projects. Went through a divorce, but I still have a roof over my head, and I'm very grateful. But I need to pull my weight. So I was embarrassed, like, wow, I am with child again. What can I do? I'm tired of food stamps and getting a $461 welfare check and getting food stamps. And I'm sitting outside one day and I see a young lady walking down the street and she has something red in a baby's bottle. And I'm like, what you got in a baby's bottle? She said, Kool-Aid. And I said, oh, I can't keep talking to these children. They're not gonna listen to me. Let me go to school so I can work in the WIC office. I want to help these young women and men to give these children nutritional things to feed their children so that they can have good teeth and be bright and vibrant and have food for substance and just not sugar and candy, you know. So I went to school and I didn't realize that I was going to be a dietary technician. Well, you had to take psychology 1, you had to take some STNA course. And then I took a course and I realized I've been doing this already naturally because being raised with family members with cerebral palsy and you happen to help, you know, as a little child, I'm doing things. I knew how to change a bed. Everything that they were teaching, I was like, let me just stay right here because I really don't have any money. So I don't want to spend 4 years. And yes, it's bad and I should have stayed, but I didn't. I said, let me go ahead and get this certification because now I'm really embarrassed. Nobody knows I'm with child but me. And I already have another baby that's 9 months old, okay? So I said, well, this baby is not due until January the 4th. Well, I've already went to Cincinnati State. I paid $103 for its non-refundable test. The date for my test was December the 17th. I go into labor that day, 4:30 in the morning. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute. No, I got a test to take. And I'm thinking like, and I'm pacing like, I'm in labor. I got something to do at 8:30. I'm like, okay, well, it's 4:30 right now. Can I really do this? And I'm going to take this test, but I had to go to the hospital too. So 4:30 in the morning, I drive myself from Walnut Hills to Mount Airy Franciscan. It's closed down now. It's a behavior place now. Y'all, 7 o'clock came, no baby. I'm taking monitors off of my body. And I am determined. I have to take care of my family. And the nurse said, Yvette, you can't do that. I said, I have to. She said, Yvette, I can't let you go. I said, but you can't make me stay. You can't make me stay. If I don't leave, I'm gonna still be in the hood, on welfare, getting food stamps. I want to be an STNA. I really wanted to be a dietary technician, but I had to do what I had to do. I said, could you give me some pads and the pens or something? So I'm in full labor. Have the band on my arm, and I drive all the way to, what is that street called? William Habitat to take this test. It's a two-part test, and I asked, I said, do anybody mind if I could please take the test, you know, the first? And they were like, sure, go ahead. So I'm happy to say that I had 2 certificates that day. Yeah. With that same date on there. Yeah. And I didn't go after the test. I'm a mother. And I'm like, God, I stopped by my house just to check on the other children just for a second, and then went back to the hospital. And when I got there, she was born within 30 minutes of me arriving. Ooh, that's destiny. Y'all, I'm telling y'all, I didn't know what to name her. And I mean, I was always like, oh gosh, you know, I got a name ready. And at that moment, something hit me. Just call her Angel, Angel Love. So that's where her name came from, because I didn't know what to name her. And to me, I knew that something good was brewing inside of me, not just with her to dismiss the other ones, but this was a special something. And I did lie. You know, I went to a funeral shortly after she was born, and a family member said, oh, Yvette, who baby you got? She looked just like, and she said my son's name. His name is Ross. She looked just like Ross. And immediately I said, oh, well, he had a baby. And she said, oh, really? That's so nice of you. And then we were at a church at a funeral, so I was convicted immediately. Tell the truth, Yvette. And I was like, girl, I had another baby. This is my baby. She said, you was pregnant? Where did you carry her at? In your hip? And, you know, I would wear the big moves, and I, you know, because I said it, you know, I was embarrassed, you know, being married, and it didn't work, and then here I'm having another baby, but I hold my head up high. And there's things that you want, and I want, all I have to do is just get out here and do it. And there was a time when one of my children said, Mommy, how come she asked me something about a diamond ring. And this is during the time I was getting a $461 food welfare check. So I said, let's go to Oysterman Jewelers. And there I saw a ring. This ring was 75% off. And it was a very expensive ring. It was a princess cut diamond ring, 2 carats, and I put it in layaway. And when I paid for that ring, she said, Mommy, you bought that ring? I said, yep, I didn't even have a job. But you can still get somewhere and do something if you want it bad enough. You don't have to wait for someone to do something for you, just to have the drive. Now, let me just express a little bit about working. I can speak articulately, but the reason I keep having the factory jobs is because that's where I kept going. So when I reached out on the internet, I said, I want help with using what I like to do and my skills to help build my resume and come away from the factory setting, because I have things that I can offer also, even if it's just sitting down answering the phone. I'm polite, I'm pleasant, I'm pleasing, I'm a good listener. I believe in God, but I don't push religion on nobody. So if somebody was to say, hey, you want to pray? I said, sure, come on, let's do it. Let's do it. But I am grateful to have the experience to see that you were on Facebook, because I like the questions that was asked. What can we do for you? What is it that you want? And then the way that you responded back as rapidly as you did, because seriously, I don't feel that I'm needed anymore by my family members, because everybody has what they need. But I want to be helpful somewhere in the community. If it's somewhere working in a hospital setting, I mean, you never know who needs to see a smile. Somebody's smile can change my life. Your conversation with me yesterday changed mine, because all I can say is, if I can't do nothing else, all I can do is just talk out half of my voice. I'm dependable, but I just don't have my resume made for yet. So I'm looking forward to getting to know you, Miss James. How old are you? I am 54. I'm 54 years old, and there's a lot of competition out here from younger ladies and gentlemen who have MBAs and PhDs and things that they have and can bring to the table. But I have experience, but I just don't have that schooling to back me up. However, I am worthy and I am able. So you are.
There's a lot of employers.
Thank you.
You're about to get a treat here.
You both did excellent, thank you.
Thank
That's
you.
not,
Thank you
it's
very
not
much.
easy to do.
Thank you.
We were gonna make this, okay. That was an awesome story. Thank you, Stanley, thank you, Tiffany. I know people are commenting it. I apologize. As good of a multitasker as I am, I'm not gonna try to work the keyboard and do this. We were gonna follow a democratic process and allow votes on the power of these stories. But Shanil's been with us for a long time, and we're not gonna dismiss it, but he does deserve it just because he's had to put up with Claire. That's all. Okay. Yeah. But we really do want to, did you hear these guys? These are gonna be community difference makers. They already are. And it's unfair to vote on the impact. I think they're both doing amazing work for their own families and the circles of influence they have. But I want to call to everybody's attention. We're trying to build them up so they can do that on a higher scale, right? We want to create a multiplier effect on whatever we're doing in a positive way, obviously. But there's people that have dynamic kind of difference-making ability. We want to bring that out in those that we touch. One really dynamic difference maker, and it's not on like a civil rights level or anything profound, but just on a daily happiness level. And I know people on the Zoom are going to have a hard time, impossible time seeing this. This is a vision of Walt Disney, right? It's walking on an orange grove lot down in Orlando when it was just dust, okay? And behind them is the king or the castle in the Magic Kingdom, right? And Walt did get to see, you know, obviously the Anaheim Disneyland built, but he passed away and somebody said, boy, it's a shame that Walt didn't get to see Epcot and Disney. And they said, no, it's not a shame. He saw it before all of us. Right. These guys are seeing stuff before all of us. We need to help bring out more. So, as a reward for being a community difference maker, just as Walt's been a big difference maker, I don't know Walt's family, I don't know anything about him, but every time I go down there, it makes me happy. I want to bring Shanil Andrews to see what a difference maker does and see his vision in person. We're gonna fly Shanil down, we're gonna coordinate a date with him. He and myself are going to Disney World in Orlando, Florida.
Wow.
Because we want to make difference makers, just like Walt's a difference maker to anybody who's watched Disney stuff. So. We're going to Disney World.
Awesome.
We're going to Disney World. And you know why? Because it's going to take a while to get a house. It's going to take a while to get credit to the perfect level that you need. But it's never too early to see what somebody else did, because we have to walk where other people modeled and learn from them. And Claire's been a terrific model, I think, for you. But I want you, just because every year when I was growing up, we got one chance to go down there, and it was such a special time for us to see a bigger vision, to see other families kind of coming together and getting impacted. And maybe you'll start to bring your family down there every year, but we want to make difference makers in our community. We want to tie them into the resources necessary to be difference makers. And I thought a special way is to see a difference maker's work, where he died before it was even unveiled, but he saw it before it was there. So we're going to be difference makers together, and you'll see somebody else's good work. All right. Yeah, I love it. All right. Folks, I was a little emotional. Yeah, a little emotional. I'm very excited. I do know, I want to turn it to Sherry. Thank you all for staying with us. It's 90 minutes out of a busy work day. I mean, it's just a normal Tuesday, and I'm having a bunch of fun hearing these stories and gathering everybody. I know folks have to get back to work. Sherry, I know we brought on some of our guests. Did we want Jason to share? Did we want Stanley to share? Did we want to give them a little bit of the floor with the last few minutes to share?
these folks?
No. Stanley and Jason in particular, did they want to share anything more in depth?
Jason, you were thinking about being sure that you could comment on resources that some customers are eligible for under the Ohio Beach Jobs Program.
Yeah, thanks, Sherry. Thanks, Zach. I appreciate that.
Sure.
So I'm looking at the attendee list and I thought we might have had somebody from the OMJ also on the call. Oh, Chuck, it looks like you're on the call as well. So I'm not going to steal too much of your thunder, but essentially, utilizing our Ohio Means Jobs system as a resource. Just a friendly reminder. I know many of you are aware of this, but there are lots of training opportunities available. And through the SOARWIB's leadership, we have an eligible training provider list that thoroughly vets and monitors and tracks the performance outcomes of our eligible training providers. And so when an individual pursues training and it's funded by the board, they can be assured that those training programs have been vetted for successful outcomes in completion and graduation rates and credential rates, in wages, and in retention. And I think those are some key elements to consider. We offer up to $5,000 for those who qualify. They do have to meet the eligibility criteria for the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act, or WIOA. And the best place to get started would be to either visit our website online at omj-sinham.org, or go to the SWORWIB website, SWORWIB.org. And there is a list of eligible training providers as well there that you can share. It's a PDF if you click on it, so you can share that with your customers or others that may find that information useful. And the best step is to get them connected with a representative from the OMJ so they can see if they're eligible for these programs. But in addition to training, there's lots of other opportunities that are available too, in terms of career coaching, job search assistance. We work with adults and dislocated workers, but we also have programming for youth and young adults, in school and out of school youth. And we have our business services as well. And I see Chuck, looks like you unmuted. So I don't know if you want to give a shout out about our business services team.
The business service team is something we're really proud of, and the business engagement committee has become very active in giving us some really good ideas that we're working on right now. Just and small things just to make it more customer friendly. Today, Jason, I got our WIO paperwork that we send out for people. It's all on one form and it's all fillable on a PDF. But what I would say is, although I'm the business service manager, if you have a customer that you think would be good for training under WIOA, or you just have general questions about it, give me a call. My cell phone is on both websites. And I would be happy to walk you through anything. I mean, in this, what we're seeing is fewer and fewer people going into training, and there's a lot of opportunities once you come. As you said, we vet the training providers very thoroughly. So when people go into training, they're coming out pretty far ahead of where they started. So if you have someone that you think, in your organizations, there would be a fit, we would love to hear from you. We would love to work with you. I think that's one thing that we could definitely improve on at the One Stop, is collaborating with outside agencies.
Chuck, thanks. And definitely appreciate everybody with SOARWIB and OMJ. Stanley, we have a couple of minutes, but would you like to share about Messer's approach to mentorship to wrap us up?
Absolutely. A couple minutes here to wrap this up. Our mentorship, essentially what we do is we leverage our project job sites here in Greater Cincinnati to provide long-term sustainable career opportunities to individuals in Cincinnati's urban core who have identified construction as an area where they want to start a career. We've partnered with Easter Seals, Emily and her team there, and providing full wraparound case management services to these individuals. We have 2 full-time case managers responsible for not just guiding these individuals' paths throughout their career in the trades, but also helping them navigate any barriers that will prevent them from maintaining long-term employment. At the beginning of the call, Zach, you mentioned how you guys leverage role playing to help drive mentorship. And that's something that we've adopted, putting these young men and women in situations and scenarios to where they can be prepared to deal with the difference of being at home, at safe in their zone in whatever area or neighborhood they come from, around the people they're comfortable with, to interacting out on a commercial job site. There is a huge difference there. And I just want to highlight that role playing and preparing people for these situations is a huge piece to how we mentor. The initiative, the Urban Workforce Development Initiative, is a paid opportunity with bonuses and pay raises incorporated in. I think that our team that we've built is doing a really good job, the Easter Seals and Messer, in helping deliver some of these individuals in the skilled trades. And if you all come across a young woman or a young man that wants to go into construction, then don't hesitate to reach out to me or Emily, and we'll help direct them in the right direction.
Thank you, Stanley. That's much appreciated, and I love your approach. Sounds incredibly needed. Okay, I know we've taken up the time that we've allotted. I appreciate all of you who stayed on the Zoom or stayed in person. It was a little more tempting to do this with pancakes, but you know, some people are able to do it without. This has been such a pleasure. I get re-energized by hearing these stories, but please, if I reach out to you, I'd love to continue these conversations offline. We've been able to share a lot, but I think there's some tangible stuff. This was fun, but like now we need to get down to the nitty-gritty of how we actually start working together and making this real. So look for follow-up from me and potentially Claire in the coming days, and you know we'll continue these relationships more offline. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Enjoy your trip, young man.
All right, team.
Everyone that's here in person, if you guys wouldn't mind filling this out. Awesome. I meant to have you when you came in, but.
No. Dad, for your dressing all the time.
This is supposed to be stress-free for you.
Election over the years,